Hi, everybody. It is December 27, 2021. I have a lot of information to go over with you. A lot of these pages open, and if it gets too long, I'll stop and do a part two, maybe even a part three. Well, that's essentially, you can consider every video of every one that posts a part. It's just a part of our fabulous new normal. Do you like it? I hope you do, because, oh, it's only going to get more normal, more new normal. Oh, former Continental CEO slams Fauci for too much misinformation and Chicken Little response to Omicron. Okay, just listen to what this guy said. I want to be a good NBC contributor, but I don't listen to Dr. Fauci anymore. It's just too much misinformation. If you flew the airplane, how Dr. Fauci manages this crisis, we'd all be dead. It started with the sky is falling. We overreacted. I thought we were getting back to the central line and getting normal, but a 10-day COVID quarantine really takes the reserve pilot out of the picture. He's got it. He's locked up. He can't come in. The reserve pilot and the reserve dispatcher and the reserve mechanics, nobody can come in. So I guess he had a lot to say about Fauci. Bethune's comments come on the heels of Fauci's proclamation that American travelers should expect masks forever on commercial air travel, regardless of your vaccination status. He did say that. I heard him. Yep. It's nothing that we should even be considering removing those masks on an airplane. And of course, this woman is right with Fauci on that.
Stand your ass up. Stand your ass up.
Sit down, Karen.
Karen?
You're a goddamn Karen.
No.
Sit down. Sit down, Karen.
Sit down, pussy.
Ma'am.
Pussy, no, you're the pussy.
Oh, no, you're the dick.
Ma'am, do you want the police to meet you on the ground?
What about him?
Mask up. Now.
Mask up.
Put your mask up.
Mask up. Tell him to mask up. Tell him to
You got
mask
your
up.
mask down, bitch.
Sir,
Did you call me a bitch?
Yes, I did.
stop it again.
Now you're going to jail. That's assault. You're going to jail. As soon as we get in Atlanta, you're going to jail. Bitch. Karen. Hey, spit on me. Now you're double going to jail. Bitch.
You fucking piece of shit.
Piece of pussy. Sit down, Karen. Sit down, Karen. Sit down, fucking Karen. Look, she punched me. She
Put your
smashed my
fucking
face.
mask on. Tell him to put his mask on. Put your fucking mask
She punched me.
on.
She scratched my face. I want her the fuck
Put
out
your
of here.
fucking mask on. Put your fucking mask
Put
on.
yours on, bitch.
I will put my mask on. No, I will put my mask on when you put your mask on. Thank you.
What happened?
She went crazy on the airplane. Punched this man in the face, spit on him, scratched him, pour hot water on my leg.
I'm sorry. I'm forgetting about my microphone. I have to press another button to get my mic off. But are we crazy yet? Huh? Don't you love it? I don't love it at all. Not at all. I think this is an example of somebody who is allowing her emotions get the best of her. And her emotions are overriding her thinking, that process that allows us to think rationally. She doesn't have her mask on. And she's spitting and hitting and screaming at this guy to put his mask on. She doesn't have her mask on. Okay, apparently this was a flight from California to Florida. She was moving to Florida, I think. I can't verify any of the information, but come on. All right. Oh, haven't we had enough of crazy? I guess not. What's wrong with people? They're not thinking. They're angry. They're not thinking and they're angry. So, yeah, now Fauci is saying stay away from New Year's Eve parties. There will be other years to do that, but not this year. He said the same thing about Christmas. He said, don't invite those who are not vaccinated. Now, I'm not even going to play this because I can't stand the guy. Okay. Did you know that December 24th, which is his birthday, and I'm sorry to say my birthday, is now Dr. Anthony Fauci Day? Yeah. That's what our fabulous Washington, D.C. Congress, there's a video, Dr. Fauci Day. Okay. Well, if people can just decide that they're female or male or some, cat, and have all of these different pronouns, I'm going to switch my birthday because this is not fun. Well, it never really meant anything to me, but do I want to share it with Fauci? Do I want my birthday to be Dr. Fauci Day? No, I really don't. I don't. Now, this guy actually said that there's no federal response. There's no federal solution to COVID, and it should be solved at the state level. Now, that's a little confusing, considering he was going to bring COVID under control. All right. No federal solution. And then he walks away. This is him going on his way to his beach house in Delaware. He made it up. He made it up without tripping. Takes no questions. There's no federal solution to this. So I'm just going to throw up my hands and let the states deal with it. Hello? Okay. I think that this country only continues to get more and more insane every single day. What are those Americans who are believing in all of this, the narrative around the pandemic, what are they to make of that? Okay. CNN medical analyst demands Biden further restrict the activities of the unvaccinated. Well, this was on the 23rd of December. So I guess Dr. Wynne, Biden said, hey, No federal response. I'm done with this pandemic thing. Let the states deal with it. So, asking Biden to further restrict the unvaccinated, I guess it's just not going to work, right? So, Dr. Lena Wynn, you know, Dr. Lena Wynn on CNN, the CNN medical analyst. Um, well, she's also one of those global young leaders working for the World Economic Forum. Now, if you've not seen my video that I posted, I think yesterday, on all of these young leaders who were selected, Klaus Schwab, to go to the World Economic Forum's Global Young Leaders School, then you should see it. I think it was posted yesterday. Lena Wynn is one of them, working for the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, the Great Reset. So, is it a surprise that she's calling for further restrictions on the activities of the unvaccinated? And then Dr. Vin Gupta told MSNBC the unjabbed should be put at the back of the queue for medical treatment. That's right. Wen said the vaccinated would probably cope well with Omicron, and I don't think that that's the case. No, because many are getting sick. And then scapegoating the unjabbed. Well, the war between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated is kind of kicking up. As you saw that woman literally punch an elderly man, scream at him to wear a mask while she's not wearing one. Well, she had it around her neck, but I don't think that it's effective around the neck. And yes, I could say a lot more about masks, but on YouTube. She said this: I do have a lot of concern about what happens to parts of this country, for example, that have very low vaccination rates. This is another reason why I think President Biden's message yesterday was the right one in some way, in saying vaccinated people should move on with their lives with precautions. But I wish that he would go further to restrict the activities of the unvaccinated, because they are the ones who are still spreading COVID and prolonging the pandemic for all of us. Really? Well, I think the facts debunk what Wen is saying. But people have to look into the facts, right? Okay. Here she is. I'll link below. This is the community of the Forum of Young Global Leaders. Very interesting to see who is a leader. And do I think that all of these people are evil and know exactly what they are doing? No. But I do think ego. Oh, I got to go to the Global Young Leaders School. And aren't I fabulous with all of these fabulous titles? Managing partner, director, and founder, and executive director. Oh, editor, website.com, president, and visiting professor of health policy and management, George Washington University, and CNN medical analyst. People get carried away with their ego. They like their positions. They don't really think about what they're doing. And I'm sure a lot of these people think that they're doing good for the world. But don't you think that they must know about the Great Reset? And where that Great Reset is taking us? So there are 104 pages of people who have the that young global leader status, working all over the world to help bring in Klaus Schwab's Great Reset. So, oh yeah, I'm going to shut down the virus in 2020. And today,
Look, there is no federal solution. This gets solved at a state level. Look.
that's it. So, New York City. What is this? A protest at Burger King in Brooklyn, New York. People defied the mandate and they were charged with trespassing. Okay, they went into Burger King. You cannot go into restaurants without a vaccine passport in New York. So, they got arrested for going into a Burger King. Now, wouldn't you like that on your record, huh? Oh boy. 4 activists against mandates were arrested at Burger King. All right, there's more of these videos.
Shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
And I'm not sure if it's in this video or another video in which that man actually says, hold the line non-violently. But unfortunately, an awful lot of people are really not holding the line at all. They're actually just walking the line, and that's unfortunate. So New York City's strictest in-nation vaccine mandate takes effect today, Monday. Nearly 185,000 businesses to track vaccine proof for employees. In tandem, everyone aged 12 and up must show proof of full vaccination for indoor dining, fitness, and entertainment. No children can go see a movie, or go to a restaurant, or go to a gym, or sit down and have dinner at a restaurant in New York City unless they're fully vaccinated. What does fully vaccinated mean? That's always changing. It's not 2 vaccines. It's a booster as well. So all private employers in New York City are subject to the mayor's vaccine mandate as of Monday, today, or could it be next Monday? Could it be January 1? Well, all right, I'll assume that it's January 1 since it is Monday, right? I don't even know what day it is. Okay, well, it's coming. If it's not today or yesterday, is it Tuesday? Shit, I'm losing it. Anyway, vaccine mandate, meaning the employers must require evidence of COVID-19 inoculation from all workers and have documentation ready for city inspection. It's the nation's first such vaccine requirement for a private sector workforce. Anyone aged 12 and up must show proof of full vaccination to eat indoors at restaurants or go indoor any venue, movie theaters, gyms, arenas. And kids aged 5 to 11 must show proof of 1 vaccine dose. Wow, that's pretty intense. Well, Wouldn't you like to see a lot of New Yorkers out on the street? There are some, but surely not enough. Too many people are complying. Too many people are complying. So, what then happens? Everyone has to suffer the consequences when you only have a few who have the balls to not comply. Oh, and Apple bans shoppers from all New York City stores as COVID cases soar. Yeah, Apple has temporarily closed all of its New York City stores. Oh boy. But locations in Westchester County, Long Island, New Jersey, upstate New York, they remain open for in-person shopping. None of this makes sense. None of these rules, regulations, they don't make any sense. That's part of the agenda, to confuse the hell out of people, for people to not know which way is up. And what happens, some wake up from all of the lunacy that is being imposed upon us, but an awful lot get so cemented in the matrix that they just keep following their local tyrants, like de Blasio, who has just a few more days. Apple also closed their stores in Florida, Georgia, Texas, New Hampshire, Canada. Jesus. Okay, what are the symptoms of Omicron? They're the same symptoms as one would have with a cold. So, also interesting, the governor of New York cut the isolation guidance for some fully vaccinated workers who test positive for COVID-19 from 10 days to 5 days. And yet, they have a mandate for private businesses. Everybody has to get vaccinated. They have a vaccine passport that allows you to live life in New York. For the unvaccinated, too bad for you. The numbers in New York are just surging, increasing on a daily basis. It is she declared a state of emergency even before there was one case in New York of Omicron. State of emergency. Oh, but we're going to cut now from 10 to 5 days. Why? If it's so horrendously horrible, so much of an emergency, why? Because they do need some people to keep working. So there were also activists at Panera Bread in New York.
You don't want to touch that flag, sir. Give him the flag. The flag does not touch the ground. The flag does not touch the ground. The Constitution. The Constitution of the United States is being violated. I cannot eat, and my sisters and brothers cannot work. And the NYPD, I'm not resisting. I'm complying 100%. No weapons, no bras, no ammo. Yes, no weapons, no bras, no ammo. No weapons, no bras, no ammo. No weapons.
It really is very interesting how there's very little protesting going on in our country, but New York has the strictest restrictions, the strictest mandates. And New York, well, it's 8 million people on a very tiny island. Boy, Could New Yorkers make a whole big difference if they wanted to? New York City considers banning gas from new buildings. Ah, Agenda 21, anyone? Going electric. No natural gas connections for new buildings in a bid to reduce the city's carbon footprint. You like that, Sky? So, everything, all of the agendas are proceeding quite smoothly. CDC makes major change to COVID isolation recommendations, treats unboosted as unvaxxed for quarantines. Isn't that interesting? What's going on here? Biden says, hey, let the states deal with it. There's no federal solution. You have, it's like a state of emergency in New York City, and it's surging all over the country. But the CDC announced late Monday that it is slashing its previous self-isolation recommendation in half. Yeah, from 10 to 5 days. And people with COVID-19 should wear a mask for 5 days when they are around other people. Wow, okay, so now you can have COVID-19 and still be around other people, but you have to wear a mask. I thought if you had COVID-19, you had to isolate. Boy, things change really very fast. Omicron has been documented to be far more mild than prior versions of COVID. Cases are still expected to surge in the U.S. following the holidays, threatening confusion and chaos among who are infected or exposed to the virus. The shorter isolation and quarantine periods will allow people to return to work or school sooner than previously permitted. It doesn't really jive. Look, I'm talking as if this is a thing, all right? I know it's not a thing, but it doesn't make sense. CDC also updated its recommended quarantine period for people who have been exposed to COVID-19. Just exposed. Just exposed. You got those smartphones? You feeling oh so smart with your smartphone, walking on the streets, talking. Oops. There's a ping on your phone. Why? Well, coordinates with the other smartphones around you have pinged you. Those who have tested positive, they're walking by you with their phone. Ping! Now you're exposed. Now you got to quarantine. Wow. For those who are unvaccinated or who are eligible for a booster shot but haven't yet received one, the agency recommends a 5-day quarantine, followed by strict use of a mask for 5 more days. And you can read on, despite. So, cases in New York State now higher than they've ever been in Florida, despite all of New York's mask mandates, vaccine passports, and media praise for New York. And yes, of course, New York's collapse is also entirely the fault of Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida. Yep. So, Florida, New York, wow, surging. If a 5-day quarantine isn't feasible, I thought, are they just relaxing everything now? It's why don't become complacent because they're relaxing, because they'll snap back. It's kind of like that rubber band. Boom. An exposed person should wear a well-fitting mask, such as an N95, at all times when around others for 10 days after exposure. Exposure. Ping on your smartphone. You're completely healthy. You're fine. But you got to quarantine. Wear that mask. Individuals who have received a booster shot don't need to quarantine following an exposure, but should wear a mask for 10 days. If symptoms occur, individuals should quarantine until a negative test confirms that they don't have COVID-19. But then again, if symptoms occur after that, maybe it's time to realize, yeah, unboosted people are or will now be treated as unvaccinated when it comes to close contact quarantines. And you thought you'd be free. You thought you'd be free. Well, here are the CDC, their new guidelines. Don't you think it's, well, of course you do. I know you do. But man, where are the brains of everybody else? Everyone, regardless of vaccination status. If you test positive, isolate. Stay home for 5 days. If you have no symptoms or your symptoms are resolving after 5 days, you can leave the house. Kitties. Continue to wear a mask for another 5 days. If you have a fever, continue to stay home until your fever resolves. Oof. Well, thank you for saying that because I wouldn't have known. If you were exposed to someone, quarantine. Quarantine, isolate. Okay. I guess you can quarantine with other people. If you have been boosted or completed the primary series of Pfizer and Moderna vaccine within the last 6 months, or completed the primary series of J&J vaccine within the last 2 months, wear a mask around others for 10 days. Test on day 5, if possible. Oh my God. I mean, you need to take notes on all of the changes and all of these. Okay, all right, I've been boosted. I still have to wear a mask? I've been boosted though. And I'm healthy and boosted, but I still have to quarantine just when exposed? Man, I thought I'd be able to go back and live normal life again. Okay, I'll link below. Door-to-door COVID jabs as Boris considers New Year restrictions tomorrow but vows to keep schools open. Sage warns new Omicron wave hospitalizations could be higher than last winter. Door to door, ministers are planning to send teams armed with COVID vaccines to the homes of the unvaccinated Brits. Sage warned UK is about to be hit by a wave of COVID hospitalizations and peak could be higher than last winter. They're sending teams with vaccines to vaccinate the unvaccinated. It's a crucial way to avoid lockdown and other restrictions. See, when the non-thinking masses read these articles, they immediately get angry at the unvaccinated because they're the ones who are creating all of these restrictions. They're setting everybody up. Well, it's unfortunate that an awful lot of people believe. They believe. they believe. Austria is hiring people to hunt down vaccine refusers. Wow. And those that they will be hiring to hunt down vaccine refusers, they've been told there's going to be a lot of overtime. See where this is going? I don't think it's very good. Israel's Attorney General gives nod to sanctions on the unvaccinated, weighing bringing a few restrictions on unvaccinated. Well, restrictions are already in place. You need a vaccine passport to live life in Israel. Well, I guess there's going to be more restrictions. Unfortunately, this publication now requires a subscription, and they ain't getting it from me. But they approved the imposition of government restrictions on unvaccinated people in an effort to encourage them to get the jab, regardless of whether those restrictions are demonstrably epidemiologically effective. It doesn't matter, just get vaccinated. Boy, will they be monetary? Will it be a monetary sanction? You don't get vaccinated, you're going to pay a fine? Could be. Could be. So, I don't think I can read this title into a YouTube video, but you can read it. Huh. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Well, people don't like facts anymore. They just worship their government officials. And there will be more censorship. Bill Gates calls for governments to censor social media and celebrates the new normal. Gotta love him. Oh, God, no, you don't. Sorry, I even said that. How dare I? There's going to be a whole lot of censorship coming for 2022. And yeah, he even had to cancel Christmas. Boy, just when it seemed like life would return to normal. We could be entering the worst part of the pandemic. Omicron will hit home for all of us. Close friends of mine now have it, and I've canceled most of my holiday plans. Oh, poor Bill. Oh, poor Bill. Here, watch this.
2021 was a very challenging year. The pandemic. Bruh. Was a very challenging year.
I guess people just don't get it. Do they not get it? They don't get it? They don't get that this guy who, oh, it was such a hard year, even for me. Really, Bill? Oh my God, look at your net worth. They don't even understand that this is a redistribution of wealth to the wealthy. More money. I want more money. I want these evil. Okay, I'm not going to curse. This is John Talks. You might want to check him out. All right, links are below. And I got through most of the pages that I had open on the Omicron, but very important, which is this: human augmentation, the dawn of a new paradigm. And this is the Ministry of Defense. This is the UK as well. Identity document validation technology in the right to work and right to rent schemes. And your DBS pre-employment checking. They're bringing it in. They are bringing it in. Your digital identity and human augmentation. I'll do another video. I've just come across these documents. They're long, 110 pages, but they don't seem to care much about the ethics involved. They're pushing everything out. So, agendas smoothly going on, and there's a whole lot of them. And those who don't know about them, well, when you're faced with that agenda, you'll just be smacked upside the head with a frying pan. All right, ciao, guys.